All right, we're back. We're live, at least on Twitch, and should be live on YouTube soon. What's up, everybody? I am a full stack software engineer. I've been working professionally for the last 8 years, mostly doing web and back-end work, some infrastructure work as well in AWS. Really, my passion lies in front-end development. So using, mostly for that, I've done React, but as you can see, I've got some game dev stuff up here. And if you've been following along at all in my previous streams, which I've been doing a lot of the last 9-10 days, I think. Streamed almost every day, if not every day, for the last 9 or 10 days. I started out doing some leak code work, so algorithm stuff, just to get myself a little bit better with that. And now I've been, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 streams, been working on some game development stuff. I have a little playground that I've built for building some game features, just to teach me a little bit more about game development, allow me to build out some of the features that I might want to implement in future games. And so I've been taking, I've been streaming to document that journey. And it's been a really fun, enjoyable experience so far. So I'll just show off a little bit about what I've built. I started this I started this playground back in April, spent a few weeks working on it, and then over the last 5 days I've come in and mostly been focusing recently on UI. So learning more about control nodes in Godot and how to use UI both in the editor as well as programmatically and dynamically. I'm doing a little bit of both in terms of what I'm using the UI for. So some of it is programmatic, some of it is done in the editor. I've built like a load or main menu. I've built a load menu with saves. You can load and delete them. The ability to create a new game, continue a game. If we just get into the weeds here, there isn't too much going on at the moment. So as you can see, we have a pretty basic player character. You control where they're looking with the mouse. You have some zombies that are coming at you and some a gun to shoot at them. In terms of what is existing here, there's kind of the core-ish mechanic of this playground type game. Is you have a flashlight and you can only see the zombies when the flashlight is shining on them. The reason why you can see some other polygons, so the triangles and then the circles around the zombies, is because I have debug mode on. Another thing I've built is a chunking system. So if you move around, technically right now open world, but there's nothing to do other than walk around and shoot zombies. And once you run out of ammo, you have no way to get more ammo. I've built a save system, which allows for saving zombie locations. I don't know if I've done anything with inventory yet and the save manager. And yeah, so I've been working recently on UI. You can see like a little inventory menu here. Where I left things off in the last stream was related to the player inventory. I was going to add a label that allows you to specify which inventory this is. And this is relevant because as you are walking over and hovering over a dead zombie, in this case, a little pop-up appears. If you press E on it, what I would like to have happen is 2 inventory menus show up. On the right is the player inventory, excuse me, and on the left is the zombie inventory. And I would like to allow you to either drag or click on and then move items and ammo and things in between inventories here. So that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on in this stream, most likely, is making the inventory UI components a little more generic. So at the moment, inventory is structurally only available for a player. it's hard-coded to use a player inventory. Ideally, what I'd like to do is separate the UI portion of that from the actual inventory itself behind that, and then have some abstract functions that can be implemented to, you know, add items, remove items, possibly move items. I might need, you know, an inventory manager or something along those lines to handle those interactions between the two inventories that are selected at any given time, as well as like dropping and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get started there, which basically means I need to rip apart player inventory. I've got some UI stuff here. The inventory portion here is also partially UI, but also, you know, heavily related to the player inventory. So I basically need a component that lets me pass in an inventory, pass in the items, and will display it based on whatever inventory items there are. So I had renamed inventory to player inventory here in the UI. So what I should do next is, okay, I created the inventory folder here, so I'm going to create a new scene, and it will be a user interface, and we'll just call it inventory. Having it be a control node for now is fine, and we will attach a script called inventory. So from here, so what I'm thinking about is references to said inventory that gets passed in here. I need to be aware that if I'm modifying inventories, it needs to be on the actual object that needs to be modified, right? So rather than passing in the values of the inventory, I actually need the inventory itself, to be passed in. And I'm not 100% sure how to do that in Godot at the moment. So that is something that I need to figure out, because you can see here, I have a global game manager, which allows you to get the player inventory. And I'm displaying the inventory, but this doesn't necessarily mean that, I'm not sure if I modified player inventory here, if that would actually modify the player's inventory, or if it would just, or if it's purely visual, and anything I adjust in this object, player inventory, if that'll actually get adjusted in the player itself. So there's probably a little bit of experimentation I need to do, but even before that, I think I need to redefine the concept of an inventory. Actually have defined player inventory. Okay. So I have a player inventory here, but it's not extending a base inventory. And I'll need to work on some save file stuff for this as well. But I'm wondering if rather than this being called player inventory, if this shouldn't be just a base inventory that any character in the game, be it player or NPC or enemy, I guess NPC covers enemies, would use. So just looking through here to see if there's anything that seems player specific. It almost seems like everything is generic enough that you could use it on any inventory. And actually built a lot out here, and I don't think I ever was using any of this. We have functions for adding to a specific slot, adding to the next empty slot, removing items, getting an item by its index, swapping items, and then getting all items, and then printing the inventory in the console. And I think I should be able to make this generic. So let's update the class name to inventory, as well as updating the file name to inventory. And while we're doing this, let's also make a new folder called what does inventory act as? It's a feature, but it's I'm just gonna call it a generic for now. I don't like the name very much, but I don't want to spend too much time thinking about names here. So it did seem like there was interestingly, a collision on the name inventory, which may be because in this, no. In player inventory, perhaps? No, there's no class name. Okay, maybe not. Okay, so we have a generic inventory, and in our, player script, rather than player inventory, we'll just instantiate a new generic inventory. Okay, so in Game Manager, not Game Manager, in the inventory scene, UI scene, player inventory UI scene, we are could not resolve member get inventory. This player is null. Parse error. Could not find type player inventory in the current scope. Could not resolve. Hold on. Do I have another place in player where I'm accessing the player inventory? Oh, I do have an error down here. That would be why. Because we're returning a generic inventory now. So that should fix the game manager issue. Theoretically, yeah. Let's save and it fixes it. Great. Now, I don't actually think this is the right way of doing this. So when I get items, I'm just getting not the pointer to those items, not the pointer to the inventory, but the actual just a list of the items that are in the inventory. So I think if I made any modifications to player inventory here, it's not actually going to do anything. It'll modify it in the UI, but it's not going to modify it in the actual player. Which means rather than having a get inventory function on player, which just returns well, it returns the inventory itself. But then when I do get items, that's just returning I don't know, maybe that is fine. Let's do some testing here. So let's actually add something to the player's inventory. And we'll say, are items expected to be anything but a string? I actually don't know if I've defined what an item, oh no, I have defined what an item is. So an item, you can initialize it with the ID and the name, which is fine. So we'll say our item equals item.new. We'll say I and name is I as well, but string of I. And then we will assign item to, so this will initialize our inventory with meaningless items, but in doing so, we can test some of the functionality here. So let's go into player inventory, which is what pops up on the scene. So quickly going into the game here, we should see what we expected, all the items here by their item ID, because we just named them the same thing as the index. So if we were to then say, when you press the use button, so let's actually, let's see, inventory item selected. Let's make sure that this is working correctly. So it's a selected blank. Yeah, selected 6. Okay, so when you press the use button, let's go with game manager dot, hold on. Yeah, so I'm realizing this isn't going to work because we've basically, I mean, there's more work that needs to be done, but we're basically just printing out all of the items here, and then we never have a way to modify the actual inventory without accessing directly Game Manager here. But for the sake of testing, let's just do game manager dot player hold on. Game manager.player dot. My question is get inventory the same as inventory? So when we're looking at the player here, and we've created the global within this file inventory, and then we return this inventory, is that a reference to this inventory, or does it create a new value? And I'm wondering, actually, see reference of object. So I want to get a reference to the node. Okay, so let's print out game manager dot player dot get inventory dot get node. So that should, oops, why are you yelling? Too few arguments, expected at least one. What are you expecting? Node path. Okay, that's not right then. Get node and resource, perhaps? No, you're also expecting node path. Get instance ID, maybe? Returns the object's unique instance ID. So object's instance within the global scope. That's interesting. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll also print the game manager dot player dot inventory dot get instance ID. So hopefully these are the same. If they're not, then I can do one more thing to test, but then we need to figure out what to do here. So I click on, I've selected that. Now I click drop. Okay, that's good. It's the same, which I believe would mean if we were to say game manager dot get inventory, dot player dot get inventory dot remove item, and we'll say self dot selected item key. That should theoretically make that object not exist in the game manager anymore, or in the inventory anymore. So we can then we also want to say, just for testing, we're going to see if this works, the same as it does in the normal way to act, or the like more unsafe way to access the inventory, in my opinion. Remove item, and we'll just say self.selected item plus 1, and we'll make sure not to select the 15th or 16th element so that this is valid. And then we will again print out the items within the inventories here and see if we get the right. So we'll print inventory and then print inventory. All right, so print and print direct inventory. Great. Let me just set a reminder for myself to do not disturb. All right, let's give this a try. So 3. When I click use, we should see 3 and 4 deleted, ideally. Or sorry, drop. Get broke. Type remove item, cannot convert argument 1 from string to int. Is selected item key string is, which means this is called inventory. It's a generic, or it's the generic one. When we remove item, we're expecting an integer. However, we are getting a string because selected item key is a string, because item key is a string. So that means we should instead update remove item to be index of a string. Rather than an int. Let me just see if this is called anywhere. It's only called in player inventory. Okay, yeah, it's only called when we just called it. So we'll update this to string, then need to update is valid index, pass in a string here. So if how do you, let's see, Godot, how to validate string is int. I'm just wondering if there's a function. There is valid int and toInt. Is that on a string? So if not, I'm using JavaScript here. If not, index.is valid int, return false. Otherwise, returns true if the string represents a valid integer. A valid integer only contains digits and may be prefixed. Great. So then we can say index.toInt greater than 0 and index.toInt is less than max items. Why is this yelling? Valid item is index. Should be string, but is int. Ah, okay. So this needs to be string, which means index.toInt. No, we should just be operating with strings here. Guess there's Add item to slot, so it returns the index, or can we say null instead? Either returns a string index or null. Can I return? I guess empty string would be the correct way of doing this. All right. Add item to next empty slot. Instead, return the key. So we'll say string here of I and return empty string. And get item, again, string. That's all good. Update these both to strings. All right, we should be good there. Now let's give this another try. So theoretically, 4 and 5, they're not going to disappear on the inventory, but they should disappear in the player's inventory. Valid operand string and in operator plus. So player inventory line 65. Right, that's a string. So we need to say to int, and what returns if this isn't valid? Converts a string representing to int. This method removes. C also is a valid int. Converts the string. Okay, so it returns 0. Okay, the like quote unquote error case strange is 0. So that's not ideal. But let's assume for now that it is a valid integer and make note of this. Well, let's just make a mental bookmark about that. Except remove item needs to be, it's not an int. Remove item expects a string. So really, okay, this is getting kind of gross, but then we make a string of the int here and we should be good. Yeah. I mean, ideally, actually, we wouldn't be doing this anyway because we're never going to be usually doing the like index +1, but that's, hold on one sec. All right, sorry about that. The wind blew one of my doors closed, and wasn't expecting that, so it's a bit spooky. All right, let's give this a try now. So if we drop, we should see, let's make this a little bigger. So we have get inventory is the first one. So item 5 should be null, right? Because we selected 5. No, we selected 4. Okay, so this is maybe what I was afraid of here. So we selected 5, selected 4. We select 4. Hold on, let me try this one more time. Why is item 15 null? Oh no, it's not. Wait, what is printing null? Okay, hold on. Let's give this one more try so I remember exactly what I press. All right, let's select 0. We've selected 0. We drop 0. Now, we press the drop button. It's the same reference technically. And then, oh, I guess is the inventory getting printed when oh yeah, it is. When I remove an item, I'm printing the inventory. So let's actually comment that out real quick and do this all again. 0, selected 0, drop. Okay. Excuse me. So we get inventory, which corresponds with this print statement. And we print inventory where item 0 still exists, right? Because we removed item of selected item key, which should be 0. I should actually double check though, and just make sure that there's not something weird happening here. But anyway, assuming nothing weird is happening there, this first example with print inventory means that this reference didn't actually get, this isn't a true reference to the inventory. It's creating a new object, which is what I was afraid of. So you actually need to access the direct inventory of the player like this, because I assume if I were to go, if I were to update this to just be inventory, we will see that it updates properly, or at least as we're expecting here. Let's do 1 this time. So we should see 1 and 2. No, we don't. That suggests to me that because the key is item 1. The key is item 1 and we're, okay. I'm already running into a funny bug with 2int. I mean, it's expected. I even saw that it was expected here, where it takes a string that has characters in it and only returns the number. This feels weird. Why are we returning a valid number? We should be returning a not a number. Unless is valid int. So let me actually look at does this for... Okay, so you should be checking that prior to... Okay. Is there a way to have... Oh, there is actually. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do real quick is create a utilities global, which will act as a way to just call it utils manager. And what this is basically, okay, so extends node. Say, do I want to have a class name with it? Actually, I'm realizing I don't think I do. So with game manager here, wherever you are, no, I don't. Okay, so I've got this utils manager that I want to have just basic utility functions for. One of those being like an auto, let's see. Validation of integers, perhaps. What is the right way of doing this? Because we're... It's like anytime we're converting... Anytime I'm converting a string to an integer, I don't know, maybe I take this back. Really what I'm looking for is a way to just do this with regards to the inventory. So when I'm accessing, say, get item, it adds the base key name there. Do I even need base key name? Like when I'm returning the indexes for each of these functions. It's really a matter of like, what precedent do I want to set here? What's the pattern that I want to use? Do I want to pass in a key, which is a string, which is like item underscore a number? Or do I want to just pass in the actual index? In which case... What? I don't think I want this base key name, ultimately. I don't know what purpose it's serving other than to be confusing. So I think I'm gonna remove it. which means I won't run into this issue anymore. And I don't need any of this to be strings because they're already strings being passed in. That's fine there. Oh no, wait. These do need to be strings. Hold on. Anytime I'm doing a range, those do need to be converted to strings. Not doing a range here, so that can be deleted. And okay, I think we should be good. Yeah. So now is this... So this should just be a normal integer. We're converting that. Okay, so this should work now. We should see both deleted, and I'm actually pretty confident that it's going to show up properly. So 2 and 3 should get deleted. So 2 gets deleted. Okay, and then, so you can do it both ways. It's a reference, it's not a value. Which means you can pass in basically get inventory for whatever inventory class to the generic inventory component, like UI, and we should be okay. So most of the stuff in player inventory can get moved. Actually, let's... No, that's fine. So most of the stuff in player inventory can get moved. We will now just copy and paste. This should work. Copy and paste that in. We also can just copy and paste basically this whole thing into our inventory here, and then instead of just grabbing the player inventory, we should create a initialize function that takes in an inventory, returns void. We will actually have a global inventory, which can be an inventory or null. Self.inventory equals I. And then instead of saying player inventory, we will say for key in self.inventory. And we will do instead self.inventory. Then anywhere else we're doing player So let's just update this to self.inventory. And I guess actually what we will do here is anytime we make a modification to the inventory that's part of this component, we want to verify, because we'll start out by doing this with the player inventory. We just want to verify that any changes we're making to that are actually being reflected in the player itself. So we'll say here self.inventory. Remove item, and then self.inventory.print inventory, and self.inventory. Oh wait, we don't actually need that. Oh, but we will print out the game manager.player.inventory.print inventory. Cool. Awesome. Okay, I think that all makes sense. We do want to move inventory item button, which I don't believe is related to the player at all. It's not. Go ahead and move this to the generic inventory here. And then that means we also need to update this. So it's going to be an inventory. And then also you are going to yell down here. So you also got moved to inventory. Please don't yell at me. Hey, Mr. Shader, how's it going? All right, and now that we have moved inventory and all of its code and components to a more generic inventory, we can go into the player inventory here. I'm doing well, thanks. I'm doing well. I'm just working on, I've built myself a little playground to learn more about games and just building out some game features, learning more about Godot, and just using it to eventually apply it to a game I make in the future. So we're gonna delete all of this and go into our player inventory script here, and rather than, we don't need any of this stuff anymore actually, because what we're going to do is actually wondering if I even need this process mode, but we're going to leave it there for a second. So all of the UI handling should be done in the inventory here. Yeah, I'm relatively new. I mean, I've been playing games my whole life, so not new to games in general, but I started messing with Godot, like game development, maybe 4 years ago, and then, every year or so for a few weeks, I get interested in doing something and then pick it up and do that. But this year I've made a more concerted effort to learn more. So in April, May, I spent several weeks doing stuff, and for the last week or so I've been doing more and just kind of documenting my process and everything I've done streaming. It makes it a little more fun, a little more accountable as well, and yeah, so I've streamed pretty much every day for the last like 10 days. And I'm doing more right now. Okay, so we deleted everything out of the player inventory here. And got the generic inventory. But here we have the like UI portion of the inventory, which we're going to initialize in, let's see, let's say class name is inventory UI. So I think we can do like inventory scene is inventory UI dot instantiate. No, maybe we can't do that. No, so we want to preload this actually. So we'll say inventory scene, inventory UI scene equals preload inventory. Thanks. I'm glad you're a fan of me now. Why'd you stop? I haven't really messed too much around with Unity, but I have heard that it's a little difficult to use. I'm finding that Godot, which is the open source game engine, has been really nice to use and fun to do it. Were you doing it professionally or just on the side? Okay, inventory UI scene dot instantiate. We'll say call this inventory. We will instantiate, yeah. Then we will initialize inventory, right? Because there's a initialize function. Then we need to pass in an inventory. So we'll say game manager dot player dot get inventory. And we need to add that to the scene. So self dot add child inventory. No, just on the side. You stopped because you went to college and studied UI and UX design. Yeah, Unity wasn't that hard. Yeah, I had a YouTube channel, actually the one that I'm streaming on right now. You're on Twitch, but I'm also streaming on YouTube. I had a YouTube channel 10, 12 years ago when I was in high school, and was doing that a lot over the summers. And then I went to college and totally got side railed and distracted, or sidetracked and distracted. But yeah, you know, if I had stuck with it, maybe I'd have a big following now. But you know, I'm not doing this right now for followers necessarily. I'm just having fun doing game development, learning it, and like I said, documenting my experience. And if anyone wants to hang out and ask questions and, you know, learn with me or teach me stuff, then that's what I'm here for. Okay, so I think this should actually work because the player inventory is getting initialized in, where is it getting initialized in? I don't need any of this stuff now. And I don't need selected item key. Where? Let me try to remember. Is it in game manager or pause man? I think it's pause manager. Yeah. Get node player inventory. I think this should work. Let's give it a try. No. Non-existent function keys in base node. Just inventory. Function keys. Okay, where's this happening? Inventory. Hey Leo, how's it going? Thanks for stopping in again. Just FYI, I have messages coming from both Twitch and YouTube, and there's no way. Actually, I was gonna do this yesterday. I think I can. Yeah, I can just put up like the chat here, and occasionally I'll pull it up when I'm answering questions. I wonder if there's a way to make the text bigger. I think there is. Cool. Awesome. There we go. That's perfect. All right, in order. Did I major in anything related to software at university? Yes. So I studied computer science. I'm a full stack developer. I've been coding professionally for 8 years now, and mostly build like websites and backends and do some infrastructure in AWS. And I enjoy it. I like front end more than back end, and so I think that's why I've been more pulled towards game development. And I mean, I like games as well. But yeah, that's why, you know, that's how I got into coding, was in college. How's the game going? Good. I haven't made too much more progress than I had yesterday when I think you also stopped by. I'm just making the inventory more generic. So basically being able to use the same inventory code for the player as well as any like NPCs. So when zombies die, I can like spawn up multiple inventories and allow you to like move items and stuff in between them. But I am running into just a small bug here in the inventory UI portion. Keys does not seem to exist. Why is that? Is that because inventory, self.inventory isn't? That might be why. Self.inventory might not exist yet, although I feel like it should. All right, let's try this again. Where was I? Losing my spot. Let's try this again. Hey, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate that. I really do. It's, you know, if you want to follow me on my journey. Where did the game go? Oh, no, wait, I'm looking for the chat. Where did the chat go? Am I blind? I don't think I'm blind. Let me move this down here. Hold on one sec. Yeah, thanks for following. I appreciate that. I'm doing my best to stream most days, and for whoever can hop on. How do I see? Custom browser docs? No. Sorry, I'm messing with a OBS thing right now. I'm just trying to see the chat pop back up. Whoops, not stream information. Okay, so I want this to be... Huh, that seems to disappear. Oh, I have to click on... Okay, all right, that's fine. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. Wait, did you just go from Twitch to YouTube? Yeah, you did. That's funny. Thanks for watching both of the streams. Nice. Nice. Get that double follow. All right, so we're seeing an issue. Yeah, thanks for supporting both ways. All right, so we're gonna see if self.inventory prints. We're gonna get a crash, but is there a way to see this? We can see output. So it's a node. Oh, because it's not self.inventory, it's .keys, it's self.inventory dot, what is the function? Get items. Dot get items dot keys. So that should work. You have almost zero progress with your project because you have almost no motivation, but you try to program your Alluri workspace. What's Alluri workspace? And dude, I can so relate to the lack of motivation. I've had that issue so much throughout my career, professionally, but especially for things outside of work. And it's a real struggle to get that motivation for me right now. And it's, you know, it's kind of it's something I'm dealing with daily, but like part of why I'm able to do this is because I enjoy streaming. I enjoy making content and videos. I used to do it when I was younger, and it's, as you get older, it's a little bit harder to do, but I'm finding that the streaming is keeping me motivated to work on this game and learn game development. And so if that's what I need to stay motivated and to learn more, then that's what I'm gonna do. So really it's finding whatever you can do to like get that motivation, but it's really tough. I super envy and respect the people that are just able to like keep going and doing things. But you're not alone. You are certainly not alone, and I totally get it. 100%. Okay, so I think we should have solved the issue now because we were trying to use the keys function on this inventory node, which has no keys function. We need to get items and then access the keys on that dictionary. So now we have a different issue. Invalid get index 0 on base node inventory. Okay. Key. Oh, again, same issue here. So I was mentioning this before, but we're going to need to do something slightly different here. But we'll deal with that in a little bit because I don't want to be, although maybe actually this might actually be the reference to the, okay, let's give it a try. But we are going to need a way to update the inventory UI when we make a change to the inventory, which actually we can probably hook a signal into. Oh, I guess if we, okay, to add a signal, that allows me to trigger UI updates when the inventory has been updated. Cool. I'll do that in a little bit. But now I think we should be good. Cool. So if I do 4 and drop, we'll see both 4 and 5 are empty. It's not going to update here, but now we're seeing it both. Okay, so the references are all correct. So we've just created a generic inventory UI based on the generic inventory node, which handles the base inventory functions, and then hooked up our player inventory to that. So now we can do the same for zombie inventories pretty easily. And anytime then we make changes to the player inventory, it'll also make changes to the zombie inventory. And as long as it's supported on the zombie and the player, then I think we should be totally good. Cool. Now, I don't know if that's necessary, but what we do want to do now is this to do. So add a signal. So we anytime we make a change to the inventory, we want the UI to also get notified that it's updated. You want to program games but didn't want to learn how. What is 3JS? I feel like I heard of it a long time ago. Whoops, 3JS, not 3Ls, 3JS. Oh yeah, I think I messed with this a long time ago. Yeah, I use JavaScript a lot in my professional development. And I think I may have messed with this a long time ago, but yeah, I've never used it before. I found JavaScript to be not the best for 3D stuff. You know, because it isn't a compiled language. It's functional and. But yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I do think having the guardrails of a game engine is kind of nice. Like, I don't need to. There's a lot that's hidden, and I think that's fine to start out with. I think diving into like doing 3D rendering and everything. Yeah, totally. It's good to have goals. It's important to push through even if it's tough. But yeah, having the motivation for like bigger projects and for a long time, it's I think something that a lot of people struggle with. At least I do, and it's really hard. But yeah. For me, the streaming thing is fun, and so far I'm having a blast. All right, Signal UI updated. I don't think I need to necessarily. You're trying to host a Node.js app? Were you trying to host it like online or just locally? Because I do a lot in Node.js for work, and so I'm just curious what you were doing there, and if you need any help with anything. ChatGPT is your friend. It's helpful, but online, yeah. I mean, you get into a lot of. You're using blank. I don't, for whatever reason, Restream or Twitch like hides certain stuff. Were you saying like AWS or Google Cloud or something? I don't know why there's a like filter here. Yeah, there's a lot of like networking stuff. I'd say for Glitch? What is glitch? Or were you saying it was a glitch? I wonder if I go to my actual stream, if I'll be able to see what you said. No, it also says blank there. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, it's surprisingly more difficult than it seems like it should be. Oh, glitch.com. Glitch.com. Does it have like... Is it like a... It hosts for you? Interesting. Okay, so it's like... Yeah, you're deploying basically to hardware directly. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this, especially with like traffic routing. I don't know if Glitch handles like Nginx stuff or oh, I can't remember what these are called. What is the official name for Nginx? Like what? What was that? It's a beginner-friendly website. You're saying Glitch is a beginner-friendly, or what you were building was? Yeah, because there's unfortunately a lot that goes into it. I've personally found the easiest way, and it's not... Gotcha. It's not easy, but like to just go directly into AWS, boot up an EC2 server, and then SSH in there, and then copy over your node. That's way too complicated. There's got to be easier ways. There's like serverless stuff that is kind of like Node.js, but it I mean, you can use like Node and everything, but this basically allows you to create like APIs and stuff without needing to have all the Node.js server stuff. It runs with AWS Lambdas, which are it's function as a service, so you can basically create different functions that operate as specific APIs. So if you're just looking to build some APIs, this might be an option for you. I don't know what the pricing is. Does seem like there's a free tier, but I don't know what that gets you. It might get you enough to like do whatever you need to do, but are there other... There have to be other like... other ways to do this. Render? What's render? Cloud application hosting for developers. This might be an option too. Render. I don't know anything about Glitch. I don't know anything about render. I can't recommend any of the things that I've shown you outside of just doing it directly on AWS, which is what I've always done. But it seems like this might be a way to host managed services. So you might just be able to deploy code and then it might create everything that you need. Let's see, product. Yeah, render might be a, because you can use their basic app templates in Node. This might be a potential option. You should check it out. All right, where was I? I was adding this signal. So I just want to emit this whenever the UI is updated. So we'll say emit UI, sorry, not UI, inventory updated, emit inventory updated. We'll say self dot emit, self dot emit inventory updated dot emit. Is that how you do it? Oh wait, sorry. Self dot inventory updated dot emit. Yeah, no problem. Were you saying that you went to school for UI UX? That was you, right? Oh yeah, it was you. Yeah, I've always I mean, if you look at my game here and you see these beautiful designs, granted I haven't spent much time on any of it yet, but I've always wanted to get better at design work. I feel like I've spent a decent amount of time in my career like talking about and working on kind of the user experience aspect of it, but more from an engineering perspective and less from a customer perspective. But that's an area, design and UI, that I definitely would like to get better at and improve my skills at. All right, so we're gonna emit the signal whenever the UI is changed. So whenever we are changing UI, so add item to slot. So instead of printing the inventory, which we don't really care to do now, we'll emit inventory updated. So basically any place there's print UI, we instead want to emit updated. Otherwise, if any of these functions fail, we don't want to, emit this signal. I think this is a perfectly fine way of doing it. Maybe not the best way, but it works. So now when we come in here, we want to so for the inventory, we want to say yeah, totally. Yeah, it's wireframed at the moment, but I think I don't know enough about like artwork and UI design to like, because like when you're creating front ends for like a website, like a marketing website, let's, you know, even going back to render, it's like, I mean, aside from like the graphics and stuff, it's a relatively simple and standard way to build a website, right? Like you have different cards that are stacked on top of each other vertically, and it tells you all the information you need to know about the company or the website or whatever, especially for these like product focused front ends, which most of the companies I've worked at have been product focused companies. And it's like, you know, the header is almost always the same. Like you go, I think, to Glitch as well, and it was basically, you know, very similar thing, you know, obviously different flavor, different style, but it's not that different. When it comes to games, you want to build, it's like a game is more like a brand, and it to me, the like artwork of a game is the CSS of a you know, like what you would take to a like a consulting design firm or whatever, or what you use your in-house designers for, like. And then on top of that, like layering on the like brand public, like the public image and the public relations aspect of it. Like that's the part that I don't know how to do. Like I wouldn't be able to make, I don't know, maybe I could with given enough time, but I haven't studied or spent the time to like make different logos and icons and like character models and artwork and all that kind of stuff. And that's where it's like, yeah, I'm wireframing and prototyping stuff now, but it, I think getting to the next step, I don't know how I don't yet know how to make that next leap. And so, I mean, maybe that's fine. And that's where other people can help support you. Like I might, you know, hire someone who knows how to do that to like build stuff for me, or just like use assets online or whatnot. But yeah, definitely something I want to get better at though. Where were we? Oh, right. We need to connect the so we need to say, I just totally forgot how to connect stuff here. Okay, so it's self.inventory.connect. What's it called? Inventory updated to, oh, and we need to create a function for displaying the inventory. Oh, how do you do that actually? Because I'm realizing if we're like, say I move all this into display inventory, and then I call self.display inventory. If I call this again elsewhere, like if anytime inventory is updated and I just say self.display inventory, it's just going to keep adding children to the scene. Is it standard to like remove these scenes and redo this? Because that seems weird. Like, is there a way to separate the like UI portion from the logic, if that makes any sense? Because like, watch, when I do this, it's gonna like keep adding a million. See, we get, what is empty? Oh, that's, oh yeah, that makes sense. See, it like keeps adding more elements to the bottom, and that's not what we want to do. We basically want to like delete all of those elements and redo it, but I don't want to have to keep like reconnect. It feels wasteful to like reconnect every single time, if that makes sense. Oh, it's also doing, oh, I don't want to do that actually. So I want to have two functions here, one for displaying the inventory, and then this can stay because this is never going to change. But I suppose I can just put it in, let's just leave it there for now. What is visual saturation? Is that a term in what is saturation in graphic design? No, maybe you're just using that kind of generically, but I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that like anyone can do artwork or like visual design. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're talking about like product design work, I think that's probably more straightforward than game design work, because you can take a lot of inspiration and literally just like use the same, at the end of the day, it's all just like customer experience, and a lot of the products and flows that, especially like the business to business side of things, they're like very similar, and ultimately it's just like whatever flavor that a company wants to put on their product is the change that they make. But I feel like with like game artwork, you can have such a wide variety of things. You can do so much with it. Like the variety there is just infinitely more than it is for like product focused design work. Because there's just so much like storytelling in it, and like a lot of times the artwork and visuals are like influenced by how, like, what you're trying to do in the game and what the objectives are. It feels less cookie cutter than product stuff, but maybe that's just because I don't have I haven't thought about it enough. But yeah, I mean, it's something I want to get better at, certainly, and I think I will over time. But I'll stick with the like prototype wireframing and coding part of it for now, and then if I get to a point where I've built out like a solid core for a game, I can probably either try to do something myself or engage an artist to do it for me. But yeah, definitely doing the prototyping as the first is the better way to go, in my opinion. Okay. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, it just feels wasteful to like... It feels wasteful to like remove all the children and re-add them, create all the new buttons. So is there like a straightforward way to update that one node? Maybe. Update inventory node, like node name, maybe. say inventory node equals self, what is it? Items scene dot get node and then node name. Fetches a node. The node path can either be a relative path from this node or an absolute path from the scene tree root to a node. If the param path does not point to a valid node, generates an error and returns null. Attempts to access methods on the return value will result in. So what's the difference between that and get node or null? Fetches a node by node path similar to get node, but does not generate an error. Okay, so let's say if inventory node is not equal null, let's print inventory node. So this means update inventory node. It's node name, which when we add a child, what is the name of this? So print get like name. Is that a function? I'm curious. Did that print out all the node names? Is that what these are? No, what are these? Print node name plus b.get name. Oh, node, oh no, node name is inventory item button. Can we say print items scene dot get children? What does this print out? And maybe we want to just get a child on the items scene. What is happening? Inventory item button. Oh, it's okay. It's got a bunch of inventory item buttons. So how do I get one of them? So get children. Let's get child. Pass in the index. By its index. Maybe that's valid actually. It seems a little hacky, but maybe you can say, rather than get node or null, maybe you can say item scene dot get child, where it's not node name, it's child index, which just corresponds to the inventory index. What happens if it doesn't exist? The first child is at index 0, negative values. This method can be used. If no child exists at the given index, the method returns null and an error is generated. Is there a way to get child or null? No, I don't want an error to be generated. Okay, well, we'll give this a try. So instead of connecting inventory updated to display inventory, we actually want to do update inventory node, and we're gonna change the name to inventory nodes and say that this is a, is that how do you do an array? Is it like array int? What's the... Is that how you do it? I think that might be it. So we have sequence of element array data structure that contain a sequence of elements are accessed by the numeric. Okay, so we're gonna say for index in child indices. Is index the, I'll have to figure this out. I'm not sure if it's the actual value. I'm gonna say value. I'm gonna assume it's value, and if it's not the value, then it's the index, then we'll just access it with that. So for each of these values, we will get the child. Okay, so now when we signal from the inventory, we want to emit this with a value of what updated. So we're gonna say updated indices, which is an array of integers. So that means we now need to updated indices. It's an array of integers. We'll pass in updated indices. So that's useful for when we're like swapping items here. And also useful if we're like moving stuff around and shifting. We'll say index 1 and index 2. Oh, actually, sorry, not integers. We do want strings for this. So let's update this to be a string. To do can be updated too. We'll update that in a second. Let's go back here though, and update inventory nodes should be string. So it should be an int, but it's a string. So okay, so this is telling me that this is the value itself, which is great. So we're gonna say if index equals value dot to no, sorry, if value dot is valid int, then we can say value.toInt. That should all work fine. So now I need to go back to inventory and update these places. So we updated index. And we updated I. String I. Here we updated index, and that's it. Okay, so now this should work. Okay, so we're gonna update 1 and 2 here. Does look like it got updated in the inventory, but not in the UI here. So why is that? So let's see if this signal got called. So from our, so okay, it's connected to that. This might not have worked. Oh wait, we are printing, hold on. We're printing the items that are getting updated. So let's actually say we're not even updating anything yet. Print. We selected inventory node plus inventory node. Give this another try. We're also kind of printing out way too much stuff, so print inventory. Yeah, it's a good question. So it was gaming content. It was like back in the day. It was like towards the beginning of ish. People have been uploading like game content, so like playing video games, kind of early day commentary stuff when the videos were still less than 10 minutes long, or like you couldn't upload more than 10 minutes of content per video, whereas now for YouTube, you know, they let you do hours and hours at a time. It was just me playing games, sometimes with friends. I spent some time doing like news updates for like the Xbox release and the PlayStation release, Xbox One and PS4, because it was back like 2012, 2013 time. Yeah, it was totally unrelated to coding, just me wanting to be a, you know, video game YouTuber kind of thing. And then I went to college and got busy, got distracted, even a little self-conscious. And then, you know, once you stop doing it for a little bit, you lose the motivation and the drive, and it's hard to pick it back up. And then that was that. And here I am many years later doing streaming coding stuff. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, we got a crash. Plus. String an object and operator plus. Oh, that would be because I can't. This is an object. This inventory node is an object, so let's just say print inventory node. We selected inventory node blank. Okay, so that's working properly. So now we just need to actually update that node. And we do that by ooh. Oh, actually we can can we replace a child? Items scene dot replace. Did I get a lot of followers? Or not really? So actually the YouTube channel that I'm also streaming this on YouTube, is the one that I used way back in the day for that. I got up to like 140-ish followers over one summer, and then like by the end of the summer I was getting like 5 subscribers a day, and then just kind of, you know, stopped from there. But now I have, you know, 149 subscribers, maybe 150 now, and that's because I've gotten like 10 over the last like week and a half of streaming. So yeah, like at 150 right now, but I assume 140 of those are long gone. You know, created new accounts, don't watch YouTube anymore, etc., etc. Okay, is there a way to Godot replace node. Replace child node. Replace one node with another. Just remove child queue freed, then re-add child. But I don't want to do that. Oh, actually, wait. If I... So that inventory node, I don't know if it's a reference or not, but I think I can say inventory node dot, maybe I need an update, a way to update. Okay, inventory item button. Whoops, inventory item button. So this, let's see. Maybe I need a update function here where I pass in the new text and inventory key. This all feels wrong. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, so under the same name, the same @ as my Twitch is what my YouTube is under. So yeah, if you want to, follow, subscribe in both places, that's awesome. But obviously no pressure. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do like freestanding content. I think I might just stream for now and let that be what it is. Because I don't know that I'm like enjoying the game dev part of it. I don't know that I want to spend a whole bunch of time thinking about like what videos to make and everything, and like clipping my streams and whatnot. Just gonna let it happen, and if there becomes a need for that in the future or a want for that, I can focus on it. But for now, I'm just hanging out. Okay. This all feels wrong. This all feels really wrong. With this inventory stuff, because I'm trying to update the... Like, feels weird to have all the children... I mean, maybe it's less complicated than I'm making it. Because I can actually... There's only one item here, so... If I say t-string... And I mean, if I just do the same thing again, except this time I return void, and I say self.get child, and I think it should be, oh no, self.remove child. And the index, no, that's the path. Hold on. Removes a child. Not deleted to delete a node. CQ free when this node is inside the tree. Okay, what if I get child? And I think the index is 0. This feels weird. By child.queueFree. And then I do all this again. But then I think I lose the connect to it. Because really all I want to do is just update the name, the text. So then maybe it's just as simple as saying, doing this. And then in this case, the child, I guess I do child.initialize because that function should still be valid. And I just initialize it exactly the same way as I did it here. And so I want to call this update function when update. It's going to be the same as when I instantiate it here with, wait, is instantiate a, oh yeah. With data item name and key. And so item name and key in this case are going to be, oh, I need to get the inventory item as well. So var inventory item equals self.inventory.get item. Is that right? Is that what the function's called? Get item index. To be honest, YouTube has become a lot harder for getting followers now. You really need to put a lot of effort into each video. What's your Minecraft focused channel, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, and I mean, I'm not streaming now for the followers or the fame or whatever. Like, if people want to come hang out and watch me do game development and learn game development and everything, and, you know, maybe be encouraged to do it themselves, then that's great. But I have, you know, a software engineering career that I am mostly focused on. And this is just a side gig. Do you mind if I look it up on stream right now, or do you want me to do that once the stream's over? Self.inventory.get item. We're talking, I think that's correct. I think that's fine. And the index, hold up, what is happening here? The index should be value. So we're going to inventory item. If this is getting gross, but if inventory item does not equal. Oh, do you really? You speak Arabic in it? All right. Yeah, I won't understand it then, unfortunately. But that's cool. Do you have many followers, or are you just doing it for fun? What made you start doing that? Okay, get item value. Inventory item does not equal null. Then inventory item This should... Yeah, so it should be an item. And... Well... No, that's fine. So inventory item dot... How do I get access any of this stuff? Item ID and item name. All right, this is getting funky, but dot item. Wait, what is the update function taking? Oh, update is protected. Hold on a sec. Update item. This should really all be an item, but it's the text and then the key. So item name dot item ID. You have 370,000. Sorry, I'm gonna look you up now. 370,000 subscribers on YouTube. Holy cow, dude. What are you doing in my stream? Why are you hanging out in my stream? You got so many things to do right now. Wait, are you still uploading hold on. Are you still uploading videos, or have you kind of stopped it at this point? As of a couple months ago. Okay. Nice. How long have you been doing this for? So your oldest short, oh, it doesn't say how long ago it was. It's your oldest video. 7 years ago? Nice, dude. Yeah, seriously, why are you hanging out here? What pulled you to my stream? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, keep hanging out. But I'm genuinely curious. All right, so we're calling this update item. Yeah, I get that. Totally get that. Okay. And that did not work. Which is expected, because I'm doing some weird stuff here. So we selected inventory node is inventory item. Inventory item, is this even valid? Let's give this another try. It's null. You joined, you wanted to watch something and eat, so you want to watch something related to game dev? Nice, well, thanks. How did you even find my stream in the first place? Did I like show up in the software development like section on Twitch or something? And like I don't really understand how Twitch does their indexing or their like visibility. Okay, so inventory item is null. What is value? This is becoming a whole mess. I think I need to look up how to do this better. Also is get item items index. Maybe this is, where am I using this? Is this the only place I'm using it? Maybe this function isn't working properly. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up how to do this inventory stuff better, or think of a better way. Probably not on stream, because I feel like what I'm doing is well, I know what I'm doing is very janky, and lowest to highest views. Nice. I'm glad I'm at the bottom. Well, I really appreciate you hopping on and hanging out. It's been fun. Okay, inventory item. Wait. We selected that. It was 3. There's a lot, but they weren't speaking English. Gotcha. Well, I'm glad to be the lowest stream count or stream viewership English stream available in the software section on Twitch right now. I'll take that as a win and an accomplishment. Got to start somewhere, right? But again, not doing this for the fame and fortune, just doing this to hang out and learn some more about game development. Okay, maybe this isn't valid. Is a valid item. Print isn't a valid item. It's possible it's failing earlier on even. Oh shoot, don't do that. That's very true. That is very true. Okay, it isn't a valid item. So why is... Maybe that's not the right way to access that. Should I be doing items.get? Oh, yeah, why? Yeah, why am I accessing everything like this? This looks wrong. Oh, but remove items or remove item worked. Wait, I haven't removed it yet. Oh. No, everything's fine there. It's not a valid item anymore because it actually got removed. So that makes sense. So it's going to be null. So if it's not null, then do that. If it is null, so otherwise, we want to just update it with generic empty item. Let's say testing, and the key is null. Okay, let's see if this works. Hey, it worked. Cool. Okay. I don't love this solution. I think there's probably a better way of doing this. I am going to call it a night here, though. We've been streaming for... Oops. Just going to stop the timer real quick. We have been streaming now. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really appreciate you hopping on and hanging out. It was fun. Well, I shouldn't say man. I don't know if you're anything about you really, other than, well, Mr. I guess would indicate that you're a guy. So never mind. But I appreciate you hanging out. Anyone else that hung out as well, left messages. Yeah. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it. Did some good stuff today, I guess. Just around inventory management. Yeah, it was a good time. I'll probably be on again tomorrow and hopefully just, you know, doing small streams every day. This was a longer one than usual, but I had a good time. So see you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks. Hopefully you tune in again.